Okay, welcome to the last formal session of the retreat. This is the extra credit uh, extra credit session. Lasts a long time. I know the schedule says we end at 7:30, but we're pretty deep into retreat mode now, so hopefully your mind is ready and prepared to go a ways longer. The meditation we're going to continue with will be very emotional. This is your trigger warning. Okay. Let's just start by having one more beautiful taste of the bliss of all of the senses and the consciousness, maybe 15, 20 minutes. A nice way to set the mind up. And then we'll make our way all the way from equanimity, which is where we left off, and go all the way to Bodhichitta, which is quite a long process, but I'll do my best to take us all there. And if everyone's okay with it, we may take a short break, as we did before. If I'll find a spot that seems kind of natural, a natural ending place. So don't panic or something if we get to 45 minutes or an hour and you need to go do something. Just hang in there. I will find natural spots to take a break, do the bathroom break, whatever, and then we can come back and go full on. So really do try to stay fully engaged, but also note, rumination meditations, because you're doing a lot of thinking through something, they can have a very different sort of feeling, like you can. I had a coffee, but it disappeared. Well, I'll find it during the break. You can, during rumination meditations, have a book, have your cup of tea. You can be drinking your tea, and then as you're going through the points and thinking and blah 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 blah, blah, and you hit that critical point where the attitude changes or the understanding blossoms or whatever, and it sort of detonates and fills your being, or the understanding. Hello, welcome. So when it actually occurs, right, because we're constructing a realization, we're constructing an internal state, we're constructing a new attitude or emotion. When it actually occurs, then use the focus, use the concentration skills that we've built up to hold that state. And with these things also, I haven't mentioned this up to this point, but you've probably noticed informally that I'll say some stuff and then pause. And then I'll say it all again and then pause. And then I'll say something else that's kind of similar but supportive and then pause. So the reason for this is that when we generate these emotions and these attitude shifts and so forth, it's almost like it's almost like chewing some food or taking a sip of something, or, where the taste, the emotion in this case, it has a wave, it comes, it arises, it's very intense for a short period, maybe a few minutes, and then it starts to fade. And when it starts to fade, don't just let it go into non-existence. And also, very critical, if you have some concentration, you're going to start to feel bliss. You'll feel bliss in the body. You'll feel bliss in the mind. But remember, just like with all of our other meditation techniques, you have a specific object for the meditation. And this will be important because we're going on a marathon here. Don't just sit around with the mind focused on the bliss. Oh, right? Because then you're not cultivating the mind that we're trying to cultivate. Bliss is the side dish, okay? Bliss is the side salad. Make sure that what the mind is actively holding to generate the bliss, which will come along with it, is the attitude change, or is the emotion that we're trying to evoke. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense. So I'll just repeat those 2 points even more briefly. First point, part of the reason that I'm going to repeat some of the things that I say and then pause is that hopefully I'll explain these things to you in a way and describe them in such a way and emote them in such a way that the actual experience occurs, that you have the actual feeling in your mind or the actual shift in attitude in your mind. When that occurs, just like any other object of concentration, your breath, the visual consciousness, body scanning, whatever, your object of meditation is that feeling or attitude shift that has occurred, and you hold it with concentration and you fully absorb into it. And over a short period, it's going to change and then start to fade. And then I'll probably say it again, or I'll say something different that supports it and causes it to arise again. And then you hold it with concentration, right? So that's the process of rumination meditation. Contemplate the reasons, observations, boom, 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 boom. The attitude finally occurs, bang, you just hold. And then it fades, 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 fades. Contemplate more reasons, new reasons, supportive reasons. The attitude occurs again, bang, hold it. Slowly fades, and you do it again. If you have some training in concentration, probably also because of the subject matter, so because of the subject matter on one hand and because of concentration on the other, bodily bliss and mental bliss will come along with you focusing on something like equanimity, loving kindness, compassion, certainly bodhicitta. Okay? So when the mind focuses in on these, if you let the mind divert over here and focus on the bliss instead, it may stay in a state of concentration because focusing on bliss is freaking awesome, right? It's fantastic. But you've now lost the object of concentration, which was supposed to be over here. We're changing the attitude. We're changing the mental approach. So you don't ignore the bliss. The bliss is going to be there as part of the experience if the bliss comes. But make sure that you're focused intently on the change in attitude, the change in emotion. Okay? It's so funny to be talking about this stuff so openly. I mean, honestly, I said before, one of the problems is that if you get better at all this stuff, you have to fight embarrassment as one of the as one of the obstacles, right, to advancing in meditation. I mean, if somebody joined this live stream and had no idea what we were talking about, it would sound totally nuts. Okay. So let's do some body scan into body meditation, into opening the sense gates, into mind or consciousness sense gate. So set your posture. Okay. Let's start with the feet, ankles, calves, knees, lower thigh, upper thigh, hips, front of the pelvis, back of the pelvis, tailbone, anus, perineum, sexual organs, the waist belt, the diaphragm belt, the upper chest belt. Take a moment to combine everything from the sexual organs up to the collarbones. Be aware of the entire trunk or torso of the body. Release that awareness. Put your awareness in the top of the left shoulder. Front, side, back, underneath, bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist, palm and back of hand, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Move to the top of the right shoulder. Front, side, back, underneath, bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist, palm and back of hand, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky, move your awareness up now to the first third, the lower third of the neck, including the portion of the neck that goes into the connections of the neck that go into the upper spine and upper back, upper shoulders, and the portion of the neck that goes into the collarbone areas. Bring the awareness up now to the middle portion of the neck, the top portion of the neck, the joint between the skull and the neck, the scalp on the back of the head, scalp on the left, scalp on the right, left ear, right ear, forehead, left eyebrow, right eyebrow, left eye, right eye, left side of the nose on the outside and inside, the right side of the nose on the outside and inside, left cheek, right cheek, not your top lip, but your upper lip, and then your chin, now your top lip, lower lip, inside your mouth, the skin on the back of your lips, inside your left cheek, inside your right cheek. Gently scan each of your teeth and your gums. Roof of the mouth, below the tongue, the tongue, throat, finally, bring your awareness to the top of your scalp. Find the most sensitive point. From that sensitive point, stretch your awareness down to your left fingertips and nail beds. Stretch your awareness down without losing those 2 points to the right fingertips and nail beds. Stretch your awareness down to your left toe tips and nail beds and heel. Without losing those 4 points, stretch your awareness down to the right toe tips, toenails, and heels. Hold the 5 points. Bring your awareness now, releasing the 5 points, to the 6 directions, everything facing the front, back, left, right, up, down. Hold the 6 points. Release the 6 points and abide in full body awareness with the tactile gate completely open. Notice how this awareness is pure, clean, undefiled. by disturbing emotions. Now open the eyes, slowly, slowly. Gaze, but do not look. In the visual sense power, extend your awareness up, maintaining that, extend it down, holding 3 points, extend it to the left, holding 4 points, extend it to the right, hold the 4 points. Release the 4 points and allow the eyes to just fully open in all directions. Be aware of the full visual field. Open the visual sense gate. With the body and visual, to the front, to the back, left, right, up, up, and down. Notice how visual awareness is pure, undefiled by disturbing mental states. Open your auditory sense power. Everything to the front of sound, everything to the back, everything to the left, everything to the right, everything above, everything below. Hold the 6 points of sound, opening the auditory sense gate by holding 6 points. With 3 sense gates we have open: body, visual, and sound. Stretch forward, back, left, right, up, down. And then release into open awareness, like a mirror. Notice that the auditory sense power also is pure and undefiled by disturbing emotions. Its fundamental nature is simply to give rise to auditory experiences and to know those experiences. In the same way that the visual consciousness has a fundamental nature of giving rise to visual experiences and knowing those experiences. In the same way that tactile consciousness has a nature of giving rise to tactile experiences and knowing those experiences. All of these undefiled by disturbing emotion. Pure. Open the olfactory sense gate, the smell sense gate, to the front. Everything nearby. Front, back, left, right, up, down. Hold 6 points for the auditory sense gate. The olfactory sense gate, the smell gate. Release those 6 points and just abide with the olfactory sense gate open. Stretch your tactile, auditory, visual, and olfactory sense gate to the front, back, left, right, up, down. Release and hold open the 4 gates. Notice once again, the olfactory sense gate, like the other 3, is pure and undefiled by disturbing emotion. Its nature is pure. Place your mind in the center of the taste gate. Stretch it forward, backwards, left, and right. Hold 4 points open for the taste gate. Now with all 5 gates, stretch all 5 to the front, back, left, right, up, down. Notice that the taste gate, like the other 4, is completely pure, undefiled by disturbing emotion. Like a mirror, reflecting whatever appears. Now finally bring your awareness to the consciousness gate. Become aware of, without losing the other 5, become aware of mental content, which is thoughts, emotions, mental imagery, intentions, motivations, attitudes, words, mental labels, whatever appears in your mental consciousness. Now, with choiceless, intentionless, do-nothing consciousness, like a mirror, like an observer, simply watch and reflect whatever appears without adjusting or changing anything. Now, very gently, very softly, just release the 5 external senses. You're now very highly aware of what types of objects those 5 senses focus upon. So ignore now the 5 external senses as best you can, and focus exclusively on the mind, the mental consciousness, and mental content only. Do your very best to simply let the mind rest like a mirror, observing its own content, choiceless, intentionless, do nothing, change nothing, adjust nothing, analyze nothing. Simply observe. Don't figure anything out. Don't think anything in particular. Don't not think anything in particular. Like a mirror, just reflect whatever appears without changing any of it. Proceed. Notice that, like the other five senses, when you get closer to the nature of consciousness, which gives rise to mental experiences and knows those experiences, its nature is not to be disturbed. Its nature is not to be angry. Its nature is not to exaggerate positive experience. Its nature is not pride and arrogance and a sense of personal identity. Its nature is not jealousy. Its nature is not some diluted form of doubt. It is pure, undefiled by disturbed mental activity. And since this is the closest look, probably, you ever had at your actual mind, it stands to reason that the closer and closer and closer you look, the more pure and undefiled it will appear to be. Since before we looked, it seemed like it had all sorts of problems. But now, upon close inspection, it seems pure when we looked very closely. And it's this pure mind, undefiled by disturbing emotions, that is the basis, is the reason that you can attain nirvana. And it is the reason that you can attain full Buddhahood. Because the mind is not innately defiled or disturbed, through working with the mind to remove the causes that create disturbance on its surface, through permanently removing the causes that create the disturbances on the mind's surface, you can bring forth its naturally pure, undefiled, undisturbed state, and therefore permanent satisfaction, bliss, happiness for yourself is possible. And since this mental state, ultimately, if you keep going, you'll find that this mental state is not ultimately limited by your physical body. And if you have any reason to believe or accept that rebirth is real, that clairvoyance or psychic capabilities are real, a Buddha is a being who has absolutely perfected every single type of mental capability with a mind that has no limits whatsoever in time or space. If a certain type of capability exists that is beneficial, a Buddha is a type of being who has perfected that capability. So a Buddha has unlimited psychic capability to know the minds of other beings and know what they need, in the same way that some people have a very limited psychic capability to know some things about some other people some of the time. A Buddha has unlimited ability to recall past lives of himself or herself and all other beings, in the way that some people sometimes have some capability to recall past lives. A Buddha has infinite loving kindness and compassion. Infinite universal loving kindness and compassion. In the same way that some people have a little bit of love and a little bit of compassion. A Buddha has infinite patience, in the same way that some people have a little patience. A Buddha is infinitely generous and charitable, in the same way that some people do charity sometimes, in regards to some causes and some types of benefit. And in the same way that some people know some ways to help others, a Buddha has an infinite capacity to manifest skills, techniques, approaches, analogies, any kind of method that benefits others. A Buddha knows exactly what each being needs and can manifest those things and do those things and bring those benefits to others, as long as the being in question has the karma or the predisposition or connection in order for them to do so. So this fundamental mind, this clean, clear, pure, already obviously undisturbed fundamental nature of consciousness, proves to you that you can attain nirvana because the fundamental nature of your mind is not disturbed. And only under certain conditions does it become disturbed, which means that the disturbances have causes. As we discussed before, all of these mental disturbances are based upon misperception, miscognition, ignorance, right? They're based upon seeing things in a way that they don't exist, which means that the cause for your suffering, the cause for your mind being disturbed, is not outside, it's inside. Since that cause can be removed, all of that disturbing mental activity can also be removed. So nirvana is possible. How do you know nirvana is perfectly stable, reliable, permanent? Because nirvana itself is not a caused thing. Nirvana is the removal of something. You have removed the causes that would create disturbance. So unlike something that is caused and brought into being and subject to other causes and conditions and therefore subject to change and therefore unreliable, nirvana, you have removed the causes for suffering, revealed the innermost stable, clean, clear, pure nature of mind, removed the causes that would make that mind cover up again and be disturbed. And since those causes have been removed, it's a cessation. Something has stopped. The mere stopping of something isn't something that depends upon or can be affected by outside conditions. It's like blowing out a candle. The particular candle flame you have blown out, that particular flame, once it's blown out, the absence of that flame can't be affected by anything because it's a non-existent. Since the absence of the flame is a non-existent thing, it's no longer subject to causes and conditions. It can't be affected by anything. It's permanent, it's unchanging. In exactly the same way, when you have removed the causes and blown out the causes of suffering, the resultant nirvanic state, stable state of happiness, cannot be affected by anything whatsoever. Because all you've done is make the causes non-existent. And the absence of a thing is not a thing that can be affected by other things. And therefore, the already pure nature of consciousness that you've had a little taste of today becomes manifest as what it already is. And you have a permanent, lasting state of peace and bliss. And at least according to Buddhism, when you die, because you have removed the causes of suffering in terms of generating new negative karma, in terms of having negative mental states, blah, 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 this cuts the root of samsara. This cuts the root of taking rebirth out of control. And then you have two options. Either at death you absorb into your mind's own nature, which you have a little tiny taste of today, and you absorb without any cause to ever leave that incredible bliss of your own being forever. Or out of compassion, in that critical moment where you could absorb, your mind says, I need to go on. What about everyone else? What about all of these other beings? They need help. And it goes on to pursue full awakening, full enlightenment, in which it has not only fixed its own problem, right? It's now perfectly satisfied for its own needs, but it carries on to full awakening where it has unbelievable capability to benefit others. Infinite compassion, infinite methods, infinite generosity, infinite patience, spread out over infinite space, able to manifest to benefit infinite beings. Right? Okay. So that's nirvana and enlightenment, and a little bit of proof from your own experience that these things might be real things, might be real possibilities for you and for others, which is really, really important for understanding equanimity, loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, which after a very short break, coffee, bathroom, we will try once again to generate equanimity and then carry on through, and maybe in the next hour we'll all attain enlightenment. Okay, take 2 minutes. Bathroom, cup of tea, coffee, and I'll meet you here. I'll just leave the live stream going. I'll meet you here in again in 2 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Oh, two people dropped out, so they don't get to attain enlightenment. Okay. I'm gonna wait just one more minute till 8 o'clock. Okay. Here we go. So once again, starting with friend, enemy, stranger. So imagine someone you're close to, and see how you have this innately pure mind, infinite spiritual potential. You naturally want to be happy, and you naturally don't want unnecessary suffering. Yeah. Doesn't your good friend have the same desire? Doesn't your good friend have the same innate pure mind? Doesn't your good friend have the same infinite potential? They do. Equal. Now think of the stranger. Someone that you don't know, don't care about. Doesn't that stranger have the same innate potential? The same infinite spiritual potential? The same pure fundamental mind? The same innate desire for happiness? The same desire to be free from meaningless suffering? Yes, same. And then think of someone who harmed you or that you don't like, but not too intense yet. Doesn't that person have the same pure mind, undefiled by negative emotion, negative deeds, completely undefiled? Yes. Infinite spiritual potential? Yes. The same desire to be free from suffering that is meaningless, and the same desire to have deep satisfaction, deep, deep, deep satisfaction. Yes. So all those people that you're close to, don't they have the same fundamental mind that is pure, undefiled by negative emotion, undefiled by their negative actions, just like you have? Yes. Infinite spiritual potential? Yes. Oh, that whole category of beings that you like and feel close to? Yes. All those beings who, infinite that you don't care about, don't they have innate spiritual potential, infinite spiritual potential, fundamental mind undefiled by negative emotion? Yes. They want happiness, they want freedom from meaningless suffering. Exactly the same. Exactly the same as your friends. Exactly the same as you. And then over here, all of those people you don't like, those who have harmed you, those who you don't want to do well, don't they have the same fundamental pure mind that we just experienced to some degree? Same, undefiled by their negative actions, undefiled by all the negative things they've done, undefiled, completely pure by nature, infinite spiritual potential, completely infinite spiritual potential for generosity, compassion, skillful benefit of others. Unbelievable, like we just discussed. Unbelievable spiritual potential. All these people, same. Same as the strangers, same as your friends. Same. Whatever the highest realm of bliss and rebirth and heavenly realms, all those beings, same. Whatever the lowest realm, worst suffering there is, same. Whatever wandering kind of spirit realms might exist, same. Every being who is currently traveling between realms and hasn't yet landed somewhere, same. Every animal, every insect, every fish, same. Every human being you ever met, currently know, or will meet, same. In addition to this, our natural reaction is superficial, based on usually superficial things, that they benefited us in some small way. And so we like them. And immediately, if they stop doing that, we would dislike them. But all these people over here who we don't like, maybe not immediately, but pretty quickly, if they started only doing things that benefited us in really meaningful ways, especially if it was some meaningful way, we would go, oh, I hope it all goes well for you. Shallow. And all these people who haven't yet done anything for me, they didn't hurt me, they didn't help me, so screw them. So shallow. Right? So our current attitude of being really close to one category, really distant from another category, and not caring about a huge third category is totally irrational. And then in addition to this, think about how every friend you have was once a stranger. Every enemy you have was once a stranger. Some of your enemies, if you live long enough, will become your friends. And some of your friends, if you live long enough, might become your enemies. And then they might become friends again. And then they might become strangers because you don't talk to them for so long. So these categories aren't stable. So it's irrational, surface, unstable. So these attitudes we have of inequality, where we feel really close and intimate to some and really distant and completely indifferent to another, make no sense. Unstable, surface, temporary. From life to life, every person you've ever meet, every insect you ever see, every animal you ever see, every spirit you ever see, every deity you ever see, every being has been every single other relationship to you. They've been your mother, your father. They've been your worst enemy. They've been the person cutting off your head and the person crying while someone cut off your head. They've been your lover and they've been the person who killed your lover. It's temporary. 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 But all the time, fundamentally pure mind. That fundamental pure mind. Always there. Stable, not temporary. That infinite spiritual potential, not temporary. That desire to have happiness and be free from meaningless suffering, not temporary. Stable. Equal. equal, equal, equal. No matter who you see, when they appear before your visual consciousness, when they appear before your auditory consciousness, when they appear before your olfactory consciousness, when they appear in your gustatory consciousness, when they appear to your tactile consciousness, when they appear to your mental consciousness, equal. Just reminding you to, when the feeling erupts, when the feeling occurs, when the attitude shifts, hold with concentration. Okay. So the next point, now that we have some degree of equality between beings at the level of attitude, the next point, if you don't accept rebirth, just do it as an imaginative exercise. Okay? So first consider if rebirth, cyclic existence, samsara, is real and beginningless. Since it's beginningless, is it possible that you haven't had every conceivable relationship with every other being? If past lives are infinite, and our relationships with others therefore have had infinite time to be in infinite types of manifestations, is it possible that you haven't had every conceivable relationship with every being? It's not possible, right? If rebirth is beginningless, then you must have had every relationship with every being many, many, many times. Every kind of relationship. So consider then that since you've had every conceivable relationship with every being, that when you were born from the womb of an animal or a human, or from an egg as a bird or as a fish, or in some cases as a spider, you needed a mother. So in a huge number of circumstances in the circle of rebirth, you've had to have a mother who cared for you in those rebirths. And because your births are innumerable, infinite in the past, you've had innumerable mothers over many lifetimes. By implication, logical implication, every living being has been your mother at some time. At the times where you were born from a womb or an egg, the times where you were born, therefore, from a womb or an egg are unlimited. So what this means is that every being you encounter in this life has been your mother many, 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 many times. So once again, consider all of these beings, the one that's close to you here, the stranger, the enemy, that each one of these beings has been A person, if not your mother, has been your best friend, has been your father, has been your brother, has been the person who came and lifted you up and helped you when you needed help at your lowest point. Every single being has cared for you deeply many, 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 many times. So, if you don't have a great relationship with your mother, then just think of sort of the ideal mother, the archetype mother. Okay? If you do have a good relationship with your mother and feel close to her, then imagine your actual mother. So think like this. This person was my mother countless times over the continuum of my lives. So my mother in this life has been my mother in countless lives again and again and again, not just in this lifetime. But in this lifetime, she bestowed me with a body that supports my auspicious life. This precious human rebirth that I get to live is only possible because my mother brought me into this world. So, this precious human rebirth, where I have access to the Dharma, where I get to train my mind, is only possible because of my kind mother. And not only that, she's also been my kind mother countless, countless, countless times in the past. Yeah. And so, therefore, it's only because of my kind mother that I'm able to make spiritual progress in this lifetime. So, here are some points to consider. So, this person, she sustained you in her womb for 9 months. So, you were inside your mother's womb for 9 months. And during that time, your mother couldn't do what she wanted to do. She had to pay special attention because she was carrying this burden in her body, and it made her body heavy and difficult to move about. She couldn't sit how she wanted. She couldn't lay how she wanted. She couldn't eat how she wanted. She couldn't sleep how she wanted. She couldn't engage in pleasures the way that she wanted. For 9 months, your mother gave her attention to you growing inside her womb. In addition to that, she did all of this even though every time you moved, it caused her pain. Every so often you would kick your kind mother while she was carrying you around. So even though my movements would cause her pain, she would take delight in them and think how strong her child was becoming, rather than becoming angry or concentrating on the pain. Her sense of closeness and dearness was like this, where even when you were causing her pain, and she was going through so much difficulty and couldn't do what she wanted to do. And in addition to that, now you're kicking her and punching her inside, and it all hurts. She goes, "Oh, that's my child. That's my child growing, getting strong." And she rejoiced, and she felt good. In addition to that, while she was giving birth, she suffered a great deal. And afterwards, it took her a long time to recover. Nonetheless, she was constantly concerned with your welfare, wondering how you were doing, wondering how the child born from her body, valuing the child born from her body above anything else. And then later on, she sustained you as best she could. Before you could do anything for yourself, every time you took a shit, she wiped away your feces or washed away your feces with her hands. She cleaned the urine off of you with her hands. She gave you milk from her own nipples, even when it made her nipples sore, in the most sensitive parts of her body. Even when she was bothered, she still felt a sense of endearment. She felt, I'm helping my child grow, even though the most sensitive parts of me have been ripped open, even though the most sensitive parts of me are being used and used up in some cases and abused. I will never be the same. I'm so happy for my child, right? And this wasn't just for one day. This wasn't for a week. This wasn't for a month. It was from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. Probably, if we're just thinking of the archetype mother, if not your own mother, then all the way up to right this moment. If your mother's already passed away, for some of you, on her deathbed, she was laying there thinking, how is it going to turn out for my kids when I go? Right? She's dying of cancer. She's dying of something. And she's thinking, I hope it turns out well for my kids. I hope they can work this out. When we were an infant, if our mother had abandoned us for even an hour or two, we might have died. And so, continuously, for weeks and weeks and months and years in the early times of our lives, our mother showed us great kindness by sustaining us with the best food and clothing and so forth that she could afford. In addition to that, think about this. Our same mother, so kind in this lifetime, didn't just do that once. She did it in past lifetimes over and over and over and over again. There are times where our mother sacrificed her life so we could live. Over and over again. There are times our mother gave birth to us and we weren't well formed, and she spent her whole life taking care of us. There are times when our mother saw that we had soiled our bed, and so she laid in the soiled bed all night so that we could lay in the clean one. Think about this. So, in limitless, countless lives, think about somebody else that's close to you, like a friend. That friend also has been your mother countless times in the past, carried you for 9 months, gave birth to you in great pain, rejoiced even as their own body got used up, cared for you until the moment of their death, cared for you for years when you were helpless, gave you the best of everything, sacrificed their needs, laid down in filth so that you could lay in a clean place, gave you food, gave you drink, taught you language. Now think about the stranger. That stranger has been your mother in the past, countless times, again and again and again and again and again. Carried you for 9 months, gave up their life so you could live. When you weren't well formed, cared for you your entire life. At their deathbed, their only thought was, how will it turn out for my child? When you soiled your bed, they lay down in a dirty place so that you could lay in a clean one. They cleaned your feces and your urine off your body with their hands. This stranger, they rejoiced as you kicked inside their womb and there was pain because they knew you were getting stronger. Now think of the enemy, the one you don't like. This person, again and again and again and again and again and again and again, has been your kind mother. For 9 months, carried you around, couldn't do what they wanted to do, couldn't lay how they wanted to lay, couldn't eat what they wanted to eat, couldn't enjoy what they wanted to enjoy for 9 months. And then you ripped out of their body and they were overjoyed. And then they cared for you for years, where if they left you alone for an hour or two, you might have died. And they gave up all that time to protect you. And when you soiled your bed, sometimes they laid in the soiled bed all night and didn't sleep so that you could sleep in a clean one. They wiped away your filth with their hands. They gave you the best of absolutely everything. This enemy that you have in this life has done that for you again and again and again and again. So kind. Unbelievably kind. Now zoom out. All of your friends, all of the ones you like, have been your kind mother over and over and over and over. They couldn't do what they wanted for 9 months. They were so happy when you caused them great pain. They took care of you for years. They wiped away your filth. They gave you the very best of everything they could afford. The stranger, same thing. All infinite strangers have been your mother again and again and again and again and again. They carried you for 9 months. They couldn't do what they wanted to do. They couldn't eat what they wanted to eat. They couldn't sit how they wanted to sit. They couldn't lay how they wanted to lay. They couldn't enjoy what they wanted to enjoy. They gave up all that time for you, and they were happy to do it. And then when you caused them great pain leaving the body and nursing, they rejoiced that you were getting stronger. And they wiped away your filth when you got dirty, and they protected you for years, and they gave you what you need. So that right now, you can pursue the Dharma path. You can train your mind. And all your enemies, all the huge category of people that you don't like and you thought up until a few minutes ago that you should harm and not care how it turns out for them, have all been your kind mother. They've been your mother so many times. They carried you for 9 months. They gave up everything for you. When you weren't well formed, They cared for you your entire life and died with the only thought, I hope it turns out well for my dear child. In addition to this, consider that countless beings have also unintentionally been kind to us. For example, the room that you're sitting in took hundreds of beings to produce. Worms, insects, blah, 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 to grow the trees, all of the people to provide the materials, to build the roads to ship you the materials, to build the cars to drive the materials in, to get the fuel out of the ground, to drive the cars to bring you the material. Hours thinking about how do we produce the best materials to build buildings from. So the room you're sitting in is an act of kindness from the entire world. When you go to the grocery store and you pick up one apple, hundreds of hours went into how do we grow the best apples? How do we grow the best apple? And then packing it, shipping it, preserving it, presenting it. The bees that pollinated the tree, the worms that aerated the soil and provided nutrients to the soil, all of the other creatures that were involved in producing the apple have all been kind to you by accident. In addition to all beings being your kind mothers, there's this massive web of kindness going on all the time, unintentionally, where hundreds and hundreds and thousands of beings are benefiting you all the time. And this has been going on since beginningless time. Since beginningless time, rebirth after rebirth after rebirth, infinite kindness has been directed to you on accident. Even a single glass of water depends upon a huge nexus of kindness. To get the water to the facility, all of the pipes that had to be put in, to just turn on your tap and pour a bottle of water, a glass of water, it's like a miracle of kindness. All of the public works, the purification, a guy said it already, but the piping, all of the fixtures at your house, et cetera, et cetera. Think about just a single gasket, a single ring of rubber in your sink represents thousands of hours of human effort by hundreds or thousands of people. And yet, here it is, benefiting you. Unbelievable kindness has been directed at you. And if you're in trouble and someone's trying to harm you, you pick up the phone and someone will come and help you. And if you get sick, you pick up the phone and someone will come and provide you with medicine. There's this huge infrastructure keeping your mental well-being in line, that you have people to protect you from fear of illness and fear of harm, fear of being robbed and so forth. Unbelievable web of kindness from all beings. Furthermore, people don't necessarily need to have a good motivation to benefit you. And you don't necessarily need to recognize that someone had a good motivation in order to feel respect and closeness for them, right? Even though they had maybe no intention to benefit you at all, you can still have uh, respect and a feeling of cherishing for them in return because they have been kind, right? So now let's do a little bit of extra work on enemies. So consider, in particular with your enemies, that in order for you to become enlightened, in order for you to complete the path, you need patience. Patience is one of the perfections. You need to be able to endure suffering and difficulty. In order to practice patience, you need difficult circumstances. So, in this way, your enemies are extremely valuable to your practice. Those people that want to harm you are extremely beneficial to your practice because they allow you to develop patience, the ability to endure suffering while making progress, the ability to endure difficulties and overcome difficulties in doing practice. And so, in this way, even those people who are actively harming you from moment to moment are benefiting you. Unintentionally, they're being kind to you. So not only have they been your kind mother, not only are they indirectly doing all this benefit, but on top of that, unintentionally, by being difficult people, by trying to harm you, they're also giving you the opportunity, if you take it, to generate extremely powerful patience and endurance. Oh, how kind! It's incredible kindness. Okay, now imagine that your actual mother, again, put her in front of you. So imagine your mother in front of you, or your best friend, or someone who's benefited you greatly if your relationship with your actual mother is not very good. So imagine this person you're very close to who's been very kind to you is in front of you. Okay? Just imagine that person went blind. Okay? So imagine that person was blind. And you're watching them walking along the edge of a high cliff with no help. Right? So imagine this person who's been so kind is walking on the edge of a cliff and is blind, can't see where they're going. Can you imagine? Can you can you bear the thought of just letting them walk over the edge? Can you bear this person who's been so kind, so beneficial, so incredible? Can you bear to watch them just stumble and fall over the edge? Is that something that you can bear, or is it unbearable? So, in the same way, all sentient beings everywhere, throughout space and time, have been your kind mothers, protecting you with great kindness. And they don't know what to let go of, and what to adopt in their behavior in order to create their own happiness. They're blind. And with no spiritual guide, with no training, they're walking along the edge of a cliff where frightful suffering, where immense suffering lies at the bottom of the cliff. Infinite cyclic existence, repeatedly being reborn in hell realms, spirit realms, animal realms, where they get eaten alive over and over and over again, where they get caught as the fish dinner by their own daughter. Unbelievable suffering lies over the edge of the cliff because they're blind. Your kind mother, your astonishingly kind mother, is just about to step over the edge. Can you bear it? Even if you don't accept rebirth in this lifetime, because they don't know which way to go, the rest of their life will be chasing attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, all of these mental activities that we got to taste a little bit of the mind this weekend. We got to taste a little bit of the mind without those. The rest of their life will just be falling over that cliff again and again and again of disturbing mental activities. Either pain, actual pain, things they know are discomfort, or chasing pleasure, which, as we discussed before, pleasure, if you continuously engage in one pleasure, like if you have an itch over here on your shoulder and you scratch the itch, but then you just keep going because it felt so good to scratch the itch, and you scratch and you scratch and you scratch, and after a period of time, your shoulder's just raw and painful. Or if you're standing for a long time, it's a relief to sit down. But then if you sit for too long, it's a relief to stand up. But then if you stand for too long, it's a relief to sit back down. So this pleasure puts you in a cycle of suffering that never stops, that goes between wanting the pleasure so bad, and then being bored, and then experiencing pain, and then having to seek relief. And you do it again and again and again and again. And this is the cliff your mother is about to fall off of right now. Can you bear it? Your kind mother who carried you for 9 months, who wiped away your filth, who slept in a bed of filth so you could be clean. Your kind mother who was so happy when you kicked her, even though it hurt, because you were getting strong. Can you bear to watch her fall off this cliff? If you can't bear that, think about all those friends. Every person you've ever liked is that kind mother. All those people you don't care about at all, they are the kind mother. All these people that have harmed you in some way or that you don't like, they are the kind mother. Over and over. All completely equal. All unbelievably kind on purpose for infinite rebirths. All unintentionally kind for infinite rebirths. Even when they're harming you, doing an unintentional kindness because you get to develop patience on the path to enlightenment. So much kindness about to fall off the cliff of infinite suffering rebirths again, or at least one more lifetime completely filled with delusional mental activity that never makes them happy. Can you bear that? Can you bear to just let these kind people let these kind beings carry on in that condition? Can you bear it? Or do you have to do something? Do you have to take personal responsibility to do something? Maybe you don't know what it is yet, but you have to do something, don't you? Okay, so don't jump ahead. You have to do something. You have to figure out some way to help. You have to take responsibility, don't you? So let that attitude come up. I have to do something. Notice again that you have this natural desire that you don't want, that you want happiness and you don't want unnecessary forms of suffering, meaningless forms of suffering and pain, right? That doesn't require any justification at all because it's innate. Because it's just an innate part of your mind, you have a right, a natural right to attain that happiness, to get that happiness and get rid of suffering. Now consider this. Other beings also have that same exact need and right? They want happiness, they want freedom from meaningless suffering. And this is their right, just as it's your right to get this, it's their right to get this. Here's the difference. You're one person. They're infinite. Infinite beings. Infinite beings. Infinite beings have the exact same desire for happiness, the exact same desire to be free from suffering, and the exact same right to actually get happiness and freedom from suffering. And when I say happiness here, I'm referring to this deep nirvana happiness, right? And the happiness of enlightenment. You're just one person, they're many, right? Since there's many of them, their right supersedes your own right. So not only are they your kind mothers, not only are they infinitely unintentionally kind, not only even when they challenge you are they kind for challenging you because they're giving you the opportunity to cultivate patience. Not only is all of this true, not only are they about to fall over the cliff, not only do you already feel like you should take personal responsibility for this, but your desire for your own personal happiness is just one, and theirs is infinite. So their need for happiness and freedom from suffering infinitely outweighs your own individual desire for happiness and freedom from suffering. So not only do you have from your side this desire that you have to do something to benefit them, but at the same time also you're just one and they are many. And therefore, their natural right to have happiness and freedom from suffering is much, much, much greater than yours as one individual. So here's the question. Should everyone else be used, therefore, for your own personal happiness and freedom from suffering? Should everyone else be responsible, therefore, for your happiness and suffering? No, 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 no. You should do your very best because they are many and you are simply one to do what you can to bring about everyone else's, your unbelievable kind mothers who are about to fall off a cliff, to bring about their happiness and freedom from suffering. Yeah. And so, therefore, from the bottom of your heart, now finally, with all of this in mind, think first about your mother, your kind mother, or this kind person that you've had stand in for your mother, and think, this person wants happiness, but due to their blindness, their confusion, they're just chasing all of this disturbing emotion instead. How incredible would it be if they were imbued with happiness and its causes of happiness? What if they actually had, instead of that, what if they had deep, abiding happiness? Oh, how incredible that would be. My kind mother who did all these things for me, what if she had that happiness? Ah, may she have that happiness. May my unbelievably kind mother have that happiness. I will take personal responsibility as best I can to bring her that kind of happiness as best I can. Now think of the friend. Same. May they've been my infinitely kind mother in the past. May they have happiness and the causes of happiness, the things that actually bring about that nirvanic bliss and ultimate Buddhahood, right? Full enlightenment. May they have that. How incredible it would be if they had that. May I do what I can to ensure that they have that. And now the stranger. The stranger has been my incredibly kind mother in the past. May they have happiness and the causes of happiness. How incredible it would be if they had happiness and the causes of happiness. May I do what I can and take personal responsibility as best I can to ensure that they do, in fact, have happiness and the causes of happiness, to return all this kindness, this unbelievable kindness that they've shown me in the past. And then the one who harms, the one who harmed, the one I don't like, has been my infinitely kind mother over and over and over and over, has been unintentionally beneficial to me. And it even acts as the condition for me to cultivate patience, which I need on the path to enlightenment. How kind is this person? May they have happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be if they had happiness and the causes of happiness. If my enemy was happy, they wouldn't be my enemy. I'll do what I can as best I can to take personal responsibility to ensure that they have happiness and the causes of happiness. Now think all of those people that I like, the huge category, may they have happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be if they had happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll do what I can to bring that about. All of those strangers, may they have happiness and the causes of happiness. How incredible it would be if they had happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll do what I can to take personal responsibility to bring about their happiness and the causes of happiness. All those people who have harmed me, that are difficult, that I don't like, may they have happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be if they had happiness and the cause of happiness. I take personal responsibility to bring about happiness and the cause of happiness for those beings. May all beings everywhere, highest realms, lowest realms, greatest suffering, greatest happiness, may they have happiness in the cause of happiness. All beings infinitely everywhere in all directions, may they have happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be, how wonderful it would be if they had happiness in the cause of happiness. I'll do what I can, take personal responsibility to bring about their happiness in the cause of happiness. Nirvanic bliss, to experience the nature of their own minds undefiled by disturbing emotion, and to achieve the highest possible infinite spiritual potential. Now we have to assess how things really are. Our infinite kind mothers, who have infinitely benefited us, in reality are standing on the cliff completely blind. They're carrying this great, huge pack of suffering on their back. They're hunched over in pain. And they're right on the edge, teetering on the edge of falling back into intense suffering, rebirths over and over and over and over. The intense cold of the hell realms, the intense hot of the hell realms, the intense hunger of the hungry ghost realm, the intense thirst of the hungry ghost realm, the intense ignorance of the animal realm, where they can't figure out what's virtue, what's not virtue, and so therefore they engage in all sorts of non-virtue and fall back to the lower realms again, and up and down in the lower realms with unbelievable pain for a long time. And they've been so kind to you, and all you want is for them to be happy. All you want is for them to have the highest possible bliss and happiness, but instead they're teetering right on the edge of falling back into deep, 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 deep suffering. And as it stands right now, they're completely blind. They have no idea. And instead of resting in the bliss of pure awareness and working on the elements of the path that remove all of this bullshit from the top of their awareness, instead of doing that, they're just chasing all of the causes of suffering into more suffering. They exaggerate pleasure and chase pleasure. Your kind mother, who helped you so much, chases pleasure until it becomes pain, and then runs from pain to another source of pleasure that becomes pain. And does this again and again and again until they die. And then is reborn and fucks it all up again. This is the reality that they're stuck in, where they experience obvious discomfort, the pain of pain, dukkha, dukkha, the suffering of suffering. And then they experience the suffering of change, where they exaggerate what pleasure can do, and they chase pleasure until it becomes boredom, until it becomes pain, and then they change to a new source of pleasure, and then again. And because they're chasing pleasure, they engage in non-virtue in order to not lose a loved one. Sometimes they kill. In order to acquire wealth, sometimes they steal. In order to protect the sources of pleasure that they want to enjoy, sometimes they lie. In order to get money, sometimes they lie. In order to get rid of all of the regret and remorse from lying and killing and stealing and raping and murdering and burning things, they intoxicate their mind. Unbelievable suffering Your kind mothers who have helped you again and again, they're standing, they're carrying this huge burden on their back of suffering, of negative karma, teetering on the edge, about to fall into the lower realms. They're already suffering as a human being, some of them about to fall again. Okay? This is where your kind mothers are, the ones you just took responsibility to help, to benefit, to bring into happiness. Instead of being happy, they're about to experience intense suffering. And they're already experiencing intense suffering. For a moment, I want you to just think of something very sort of cuddly and adorable, like a kitten, okay? I'm going to tell you a quick story to enhance compassion. Many years ago, I visited a farm, and I heard a little kitten mewing, a very, very small kitten. And the kitten was mewing and mewing and mewing, and I couldn't find it. And finally, in a little room on a very cold morning, freezing cold, in fact, freezing cold, just before Christmas, I find this kitten. Its eyes are completely shut and filled with pus. It can't open its eyes. It's missing one of its arms in the front, which is just dangling and mangled and dry tissue. Just its tail is there, but it's all dead, and the bones are there, and it's just dry and sticking at an unnatural angle. And it's just screaming, "Help! Help me!" But no one is coming. And I picked it up and I took it to a bathroom, and I took a warm washcloth and I started to wipe its eyes. And I thought it had no eyes. And then when I wiped, the pus came out and it opened its eyes, and it had eyes. Your kind mothers who have suffered for you for countless rebirths are like this. They're in conditions like this. Where again and again they experience unbelievable suffering. Can you just leave them that way? Can you? Or do you have to do something? Now think, your kind mothers, unbelievable kind mothers, who you want so much to be happy, who you're willing to do what you can for them to be happy. Think like this now. May they be free from suffering. My kind mother, put your mother in front of you again, your actual mother, or the person that's standing in. May she be free from suffering. All of this incredible suffering of the different realms of rebirth. All of this incredible suffering of a single life dominated by negative emotions and negative mental states. May she be free from suffering. May she be free from the causes of suffering, which, as we learned today, remember, you looked at the nature of your own mind. It's pure and clean. It's just these internal causes, these cognitive errors that lead to these disturbing emotions, that lead to these negative behaviors, that lead to negative karma, that lead to suffering rebirths. May she be free from the causes of suffering, which are these misperceptions and these distorted ways of generating thoughts and emotions. May she be free from suffering, all these results of negative actions, and may she be free from the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be if my mother was free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How incredible that would be. I'll do what I can and take responsibility to free her from suffering and the causes of suffering. Now shift to the one that you like, right? The one, the sort of friend category, that friend. May they, who've been my kind mother over and over, may they be free from suffering. How wonderful it would be if they were free from suffering. I'll take personal responsibility to bring them out of suffering and the causes of suffering. And the stranger, who's been your kind mother again and again, who wiped the filth from you, who carried you for 9 months, who you want to be happy. May they be free from suffering. These incredible suffering rebirths, may they be free from suffering. May they be free from the causes of suffering, which are just these things inside their own mind. May they be free from this. May I help them be free from this. I'll take personal responsibility for this, to free them from suffering, the causes of suffering. And now think of the one you don't like, the enemy, the one who harmed you. This person's been your kind mother countless times in the past. This person has been unintentionally kind to you. This person, even while harming you, is helping you cultivate patience. This person, you want them to be happy. You want them to have the causes of happiness. But they're teetering on the edge of the cliff, once again about to fall off into unbelievable suffering. Instead of that, may they be free from suffering. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from the causes of suffering. How incredible it would be if they were free from the causes, from suffering and the causes of suffering. They would no longer be your enemy. How incredible. I take personal responsibility to help free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. We might not know how to do that yet, but don't jump ahead. Just stay with this point. I'm going to do what I can. Whatever that is, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do what I can to free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Now think about the vast category of people you like. May they be free from suffering. And the causes of suffering. May they be free from the causes of suffering. And then all these people you're indifferent to, all the strangers, all the ones you don't care about, may they be free from suffering. May they not fall again into suffering rebirths. May this never occur again. May their mind never again be dominated by all of this suffering inside it. May they be free from the causes of suffering. How incredible that would be. I take personal responsibility to do this. Whatever is required, I take responsibility. And think of all of these enemies who have been your kind mother again and again, who have benefited you, cared for you in the past, all unintentionally done all these things. Even a single glass of water depends sometimes on your enemies. Even a single piece of fruit. And on top of that, by harming you, they're giving you the opportunity to train in patience. How kind! We want them to be happy. We want them to have the causes of happiness, but they're like all these other categories, all your enemies, they're teetering on the edge. Your kind mother is about to fall once again into deep suffering and is already experiencing the suffering of their disturbing mental activities. Instead of that, may they be free from suffering. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, which are just inside, just these things inside their own mind. May they be free from this. How incredible it would be if all these enemies, all these people I didn't like, were free from that. I take responsibility. I'm going to figure out what's required to free all these beings from suffering. All these beings, all the friends, all the strangers, all the enemies. May they be free from suffering. Whether they're the highest realm and about to fall down because they burned up all their good karma and they're about to fall back down into obvious suffering, or they're in the lowest realm and they're experiencing freezing cold, unbearable hot, unbearable hunger, unbearable thirst, unbearable ignorance of the animal realm, not knowing which way to go. No matter if they're a human being of, the most wealthy human being, the poorest human being, the smartest human being, the stupidest human, may they be free from suffering. And may they be free from the causes of suffering. How incredible that would be. I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this out. Furthermore, consider now that this is not just wishful thinking. All of these beings, as you know from where we started today, just like you, they have this innately pure mind. All of this suffering is the result of stuff that is not innate to the mind. So there is the real potential that all of your kind mothers, countless kind mothers, could in reality remove suffering and the causes of suffering. This is a real possibility. This is not wishful thinking. And there's a real possibility that they could have happiness and the causes of happiness. This is not wishful thinking. You know enough from experience to know that the nature of mind is not suffering. So this is a real thing that could be accomplished. How incredible. However, look at your current condition. In your present state, you don't have the capacity to bring about the welfare of your infant mothers. You care about them all now, at least for a few minutes. We're going to care about all of our infant mothers. We want them to have happiness. We want them to have freedom from suffering. We see that it's a real possibility that they could do this. This is not some sort of even really a religious thing. You looked at the nature of your mind, it's peace. The nature of your mind is peace. The nature of your mind is bliss. The nature of your mind is not imbued with suffering. So there's the real possibility that if you could remove the problems on the surface of the mind, they could achieve a state of happiness free from suffering. It's a real possibility. But currently, you don't have the skill to help them. That's unbearable. Isn't it? Isn't it unbearable that you don't have the capacity at current to help all of these kind mothers that you've committed to help, that you want to help? you don't actually currently have the capability to bring about their happiness and freedom from suffering. In addition to giving them food, clothing, shelter, education, what they need is teachings that actually liberate their mind. And for most of us, including myself, we don't have enough knowledge and experience in the teachings yet to skillfully lead beings, even in a conventional sense, to be free from suffering, right? So we have to take responsibility to gain that knowledge and capability in order to fulfill our wish to free other beings from suffering, the causes of suffering, and bring about their happiness and causes of happiness and their causes of happiness in their minds. You see? So let the attitude shift again to something realistic. I don't currently have that capability, but I want to help these beings, so I have to gain this capability. I have to understand these teachings. Furthermore, and this is critical, we also need to know the dispositions, interests, capabilities. We need to know what techniques, what methods are going to work for each individual being. Otherwise, we're just sort of teaching what we know and doing what we can, which is what I'm doing currently, right now. So if we don't have a mind that can clairvoyantly know exactly what's needed for a particular being to benefit them, then we just have to guess. We have to guess and hope and do our best. So until we have the mind of a Buddha, therefore, we can only help on a very limited level. And therefore, it's absolutely necessary, if we want to remove the suffering of other beings and bring about their happiness, that we attain the ultimate state of spiritual realization. We need the omniscient mind of a Buddha. We need the infinite capability of a Buddha. We need the infinite compassion of a Buddha. We need the infinite patience of a Buddha to carry out all these activities of actually helping all of our infinite mothers to be free from suffering and the cause of suffering, and to have happiness and the cause of happiness. Now, whether or not you believe it's possible, just think for a moment. What kind of mind is needed to actually benefit all your mothers, all these kind beings, even if you don't think it's possible to do yet? Right? There are countless beings. How could you benefit them all? How could you know them all? You need a mind that knows everything. You need a mind that's omniscient. Whether or not it's possible, you need a mind that knows everything about them and knows exactly every technique that could benefit them, and knows exactly the right time and exactly the right approach and exactly the right time, the right approach. Yeah. So you need a mind that knows them perfectly and knows exactly the right time and the right method to use, right? This is the mind that you need, even if whether or not it's possible. And then on top of that, you need a mind that it never gets tired. It never gets offended, right? It's never dissuaded from the activity. So you need patience. You need generosity so that you can carry on doing the activity no matter what occurs. Yeah. So you need the perfection of generosity. You need the perfection of effort, that the mind can go and go and go without rest, so it can take the opportunity perfectly at the right time all the time. You need concentration, because this is one of the skills you have to have in order to benefit others. And then, of course, you need wisdom. You need the actual knowledge that liberates people from suffering, which is the wisdom of selflessness and emptiness. And so, therefore, Therefore, you have to attain enlightenment. So, one more time, all these beings here, all these beings here, all these beings here, all of the ones who you like, all the ones you were indifferent to, all the ones who have harmed you, they've all been your kind mothers. All the ones that are very high, all the ones that are very low, all your kind mothers. You have to repay their kindness. They're standing on the edge of the cliff. You don't want them to fall. When you look at the reality, even though you want them to be happy, they're suffering. They're suffering right now due to their delusions, due to chasing non-virtue, and they're teetering on the edge. They're carrying this huge burden of suffering, running from obvious discomfort to pleasure, which becomes discomfort to more pain again and again and again. And it never stops. And you have to do something. But you don't have the capability. So what are you going to do? Can you bear just sitting there doing nothing while your kind mothers, infinite mothers, high, low, good, bad, neutral, while your infinite mothers are suffering and about to fall into even deeper suffering again and again and again and again and again and again and again? What you need is whatever the highest possible level of spiritual development is that allows you to benefit others. Great compassion, infinite knowledge if possible, omniscient mind if possible, infinite patience, infinite effort, infinite methods to benefit other beings, an infinite ability to manifest your body and mind and speech as whatever is most beneficial for others. Wouldn't it be incredible if you could appear as a sunset, if a sunset would trigger the next sequential realization in the mind of one of your mothers that led them further down the path? Wouldn't it be incredible if you could appear as a beggar in front of one person who needed to take the next step on their path of generosity? Wouldn't it be incredible if you could appear as a yogi in a cave to give instructions to a person who was halfway down the path and needed deep instructions on meditation? Wouldn't it be incredible if you could appear as food or drink when somebody was desperately in need of food and drink, and this led them further down the path? You need infinite capability to benefit others, and that's what Buddhism calls Buddhahood, full awakening. If that's possible, isn't that what you need? Is there something better? If that's possible, isn't that what you need? Can you think of something better? There's nothing better than this. You have to have this state. If it's real, if it's something that can be done, you have to have this state to remove the suffering of all beings. You have to have this state to bring about the happiness of all beings. There's no better state than this. And maybe right now you're finally having a little bit of this attitude that, oh, if this is real, I have to do this. This is the attainment I need. If you have that feeling, even though it's taken us 2 hours to construct it, that's bodhicitta. The mind that it has the drive to attain full awakening in order to remove the suffering of all sentient beings and bring about the happiness of all sentient beings. Extremely precious mind. Very difficult to generate. Very difficult to hold. Very difficult to naturalize so that it just comes up every time you see a mosquito or an ant or your neighbor. It's much harder than realizing emptiness, say all the great masters. Someone said they never considered that this might be a possibility. So, of course, all of our work is ahead of us to determine whether full enlightenment, as it's described in Buddhism, is a possibility. But if you have some inclination that clairvoyance is possible, or that it's possible for the mind to leave the body temporarily, right? If you have any inclination to think those are real things, or that rebirth is a real thing, there's some reason to think that the highest possible potential for the mind is to have infinite reach, right? If you think back to the experience of meditating on consciousness, it's formless. It doesn't have a particular location. It doesn't have a shape. It's not actually limited by time and space in the same way as the body is. And you can get a little bit of a taste of that just by trying to open the consciousness sense gate, by opening the mental sense gate. I mean, and if that's true, and if just even limited psychic power, limited clairvoyance is possible, what Buddhism says is that through development, through training, that capability gets more stable, bigger, 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 until there's no limit. And you attain the highest possible level of basically knowing everything that is knowable, and being able to do everything that is doable, and having unbelievable compassion for all beings, wishing deeply that they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, right? Oh, plus all the other things we mentioned. Okay, so we have reached the end of the retreat. I like to do a dedication prayer with you guys. One thing, again, if you'll indulge the Buddhist before leaving, when you have finished doing very, very, very virtuous, good karmic stuff, if you seal that good karmic stuff with two things: your understanding of emptiness, and with the best bodhicitta motivation you can generate, then that karma becomes very difficult to damage in the future. And therefore, even if you spent the rest of your life sort of screwing up, at some point that karma will ripen and you'll attain enlightenment, for what it's worth. So for 5 days work, we're going to plant a seed, if you'll stay for a little bit longer, so that this will eventually cause you to attain full enlightenment. And if it turns out that actually the Eastern Orthodox people were right or something, then you go to heaven anyway, because, you were a good person. Okay. Okay, so just quickly think that, let's not think, let's do the analysis. Yeah. Let's do the analysis quickly. So, very, very quickly, with the body: front, back, left, right, up, down. When you look at the body and the awareness of tactile sensations, is there a self? Or is it simply the awareness of tactile sensation and tactile sensation? I think at this point you should be able to say there's no self in between. Now do vision. Front, back, left, right, up, down. In the same way, when you look at vision, is there a self in between, or is it just visual consciousness and what is seen? No self there. Now open the auditory. Left, right, front, back, up, down. When you look at the auditory field, is there a self there, or is it just the faculty of hearing and what is heard? There's no self there. Now the nose, front, back. Sorry, I always forget. Up close, front, back, left, right, up, down. With the olfactory or smell conscious sphere of awareness, is there a self there, or is it just that there is the awareness of smell and what is smelled? Move your awareness to there's no self there. Move your awareness to the tongue, center of taste awareness, front, back, left, right, up, down. Is there a self there, or is it just taste awareness and what is tasted? There's no self there. Now, it may seem that self is in the mind, but it's definitely not in the five senses. So let's look at the mind. Bring your mind into choiceless, intentionless, do nothing awareness. It's like a mirror, observing the contents of consciousness. With one little corner of your mind, swim around in that awareness and just look. Is there a self in there? Or is it just consciousness and what consciousness is aware of? So, this self that seems so obvious is not in the tactile field, is not in the visual field, it's not in the auditory field, it's not in the smell field, it's not in the taste field, it's not in the consciousness field. There's no other location. It's not there. Hold the understanding, not the attitude, but just the concept, the understanding. The self you thought was there, unchanging, independent, not relying on all of these parts that make you up. The self that seemed to own the body and the mind, the self that seemed to own the senses, isn't there. Right? What is there? Well, consciousness, contents of consciousness, sound, touch, taste. You didn't cease existing, right? So what you are is a dependent arising that depends on all these parts. And the self that you see as there, that seems to be there when you're not looking closely, that's misperception. That's the root of cyclic existence. That's the root of suffering. Because that's the one that causes you to not care about all of the ones you're indifferent towards. That's the one that causes you to hate the enemy and feel extremely close to the one who does small things for you. That's the one who causes you to cherish yourself and to not care about others. This is the root of suffering. So you're empty of that. It's not there. And all beings Same thing. Empty of that. It's not there. The root of that is not there. And all of the activities that we just engaged in. If there's no actor, right? If the one who's doing the action isn't there in the way they appear to be, then the action's not there in the way it appears to be. So everything we've done for the retreat doesn't exist the way it appears. So all of this merit we've accumulated doesn't inherently exist. It only exists as a dependent arising. It's something that exists depending on a bunch of conditions, including the way that our own mind is constructing the experience. So with that in mind, now that we've seen it as empty of inherent existence, all of this meritorious action for 5 days, now that we've seen it as empty of inherent existence, let's dedicate that merit towards the highest possible stuff, right? And to protect it from future negative mental activity that might damage the potential of that karma. Okay? So just sort of mentally follow along since you don't have the prayer with you. So just bring your awareness to hearing, but don't open the full auditory field. Zoom in with your auditory awareness and really hear what's being said and allow it to move your heart and your mind. Okay? And after this prayer, the retreat will be complete in terms of our activities. But if you took vows, Mahayana vows, those don't end until tomorrow at sunrise. That's critical. So don't eat tonight or anything. Your vows will be in effect until sunrise tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Through the merit of the virtuous deeds that I did earlier and will do, may all sentient beings aspire to the highest enlightenment. May all sentient beings have stainless faculties, sensory faculties, release from all conditions of oppression, freedom of action, and endowed with good livelihood. Also, may all sentient beings have jewels in their hands, and may they have limitless necessities of life. And may all limitless necessities of life remain unconsumed as long as there is cyclic existence. In other words, may all beings have everything they need. May they have limitless, all the necessities that they could need. May all persons in all times be born in advantageous circumstances and advantageous ways. May all sentient beings have the intelligence of wisdom and the legs of morality. So may they have good morality and may they have strong wisdom of emptiness and selflessness. May all sentient beings have a pleasant complexion, a good physique, great splendor, a pleasing appearance, and freedom from disease, strength, and long life. May all be skilled in the means to extinguish suffering and have liberation from all pain, inclination to spiritual practice, and great wealth of spiritual teachings. May all be adorned with love, compassion, joy, even-mindedness, devoid of afflictive emotions. May they have giving, morality, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom, which are the 6 perfections that you need to attain enlightenment. Completing the 2 collections of merit and wisdom. So on the one hand, you need merit, good karma, and you need wisdom, the wisdom realizing emptiness to attain enlightenment. So completing the 2 collections of merit and wisdom, may they physically have brilliant marks on their bodies and beautiful features, and may they cross without interruption the full range of spiritual development. So may they be beautiful in appearance, and may they go uninterrupted from stage to stage, from here to full enlightenment. And may I also be adorned completely with those and all other good qualities, be freed from all defects, and have superior love for all sentient beings. May I perfect all the virtues for which all sentient beings hope, and may I always relieve the sufferings of all sentient beings. May those beings in all worlds who are distressed through fear become entirely fearless. even through merely hearing my name, even through seeing or thinking of me only hearing my name, may beings attain great joy, naturalness, free of error, definiteness toward complete enlightenment. In other words, when other beings simply see me, simply think of me, simply hear my name, may even just that much alone progress them along the path to enlightenment, progress them towards the highest possible spiritual development. And the five clairvoyances may they also have the five clairvoyances through their continuum of lives. So whatever great powers of psychic capability exist, may they have these. May I always, in all ways, bring help and happiness to all sentient beings. May I always, without harm, simultaneously stop all beings in all worlds who wish to commit evil deeds. May I always be an object of enjoyment for all sentient beings according to their wish and without interference, as are the earth, water, fire, wind, herbs, and wild forests. In other words, may I become exactly what is needed for all sentient beings at all times. May I be dear to sentient beings as their own life. And may they be even more so dear to me. May their ill deeds benefit me, and may my virtues benefit them. As long as any sentient being anywhere has not been liberated, may I remain in the world for the sake of that being, though I have attained the highest enlightenment. If the merit of saying this had form, it would never fit into the realms of worlds as numerous as sand grains of the Ganges River. Simply the merit of thinking the way we have thought in the last 2 hours and praying the way we have prayed just now. If we could give form to that, if we could make it a physical thing, it would be so large it wouldn't fit in universes as vast in number as there are sand grains in the Ganges River. So take a moment to just go, wow, so incredible. Unbelievable that we did that. The enlightened said so, the Buddha said so, and the reasoning is this. The reason that it's so vast is this. The limitlessness of the merit of the good karma of wishing to help limitless beings in limitless realms of sentient beings is like the limitlessness of those beings. So, in other words, the reason you've created limitless good karma is because you have the desire to benefit limitless sentient beings. So you created karma to benefit others in the best possible way by attaining the best possible result. And you did it for every single being of limitless beings. So the karma you've just created is unbelievably huge, is what's being said. And the final prayer. May the precious Bodhichitta mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. May the precious supreme view of emptiness, not yet born, arise and grow. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. May the precious 2 stages of Tantra, not yet born, arise and grow. May those arisen not decline, but increase more and more. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings have happiness free from suffering. And may all beings abide in equanimity free from attachment and aversion. May it be so. I will cause it to be so. Okay. Extra credit session complete. Questions? Okay, someone said I took the vows at 5:30 p.m. So vows, the Mahayana vows are from generally from sunrise to sunset. Yeah. So whenever you, even if you took the vows here, it's till sunset. Now, if you took vows, let's say at the beginning of the retreat over here, and you said, I'm going to maintain these vows until the end of the retreat, then this is sunset over here, right? So you took them more or less sunrise on day one, and they end, sorry, not at sunset, but they end at sunrise after the retreat. So if you've taken vows for today, then those vows don't end until the new day begins, which is sunrise the following day. Does that make sense? So someone then also asked, when's the next retreat? Not sure. To be honest, I'm poor. So if somebody wants to sponsor me so that I don't have to work, then we can just do retreats all the time. Honestly and truly, that's the biggest limitation, which is why I set up the Patreon and everything else. You know, the biggest limitation is just having to work and at the moment actually looking for work. So yeah, I mean, truly and honestly, the better that the Patreon does, and the better, if I can find some work that pays well enough for me to have extra time to do all this, then I mean, I'd be happy to do a week like this, or at least a weekend like this every month. You know. Well, everyone's lingering, so really, honestly, ask questions, comments. Normally sunrise, and one person said sunrise is in 4 minutes for them. I told you didn't have to do it on my schedule. Oh man. Someone else said, yeah, they need to find a job too. So this is normally the time in retreat where like if we were all together, we would hang out and have a cup of tea and just sort of hang. So I'd be happy if anyone wanted to change over to Zoom, and we could just chat and hang out on Zoom for a bit. Like retreat is done, even though the vows are not finished. So we could all just hang and talk if anyone wanted to. Or if everyone's tired of hearing me talk, because I've been talk for days and days, we can call it a night. It's up to you. I'd love to see all your beautiful, wonderful faces, all my kind mothers. But Nat, I know it's very late for you, and I don't know what time zone everyone else is in. Yeah. Well, I'm going to drop in the chat. I'm going to drop a Zoom link in the chat, and we'll change over to that. If anybody wants to hang for a few more minutes and just informally talk, you can drop out whenever. Hold on. Okay, there's the Zoom link. So I don't know if that link will stay. So go ahead, anyone who'd like, join the Zoom. And once everyone who wants to join the Zoom has joined, then I will end the live stream so that I can get on camera and video on the Zoom, because it's not going to let me do them both at the same time. Even if it's just a minute or two, I'd like to see you all. Okay, I will sign off of the YouTube now. I put the link. I will sign off of the. I put the link in the other chat. Okay, that's it.